Have you ever noticed how quickly you dismiss a compliment? Someone says, "You did a great job," and almost automatically you answer, "It wasn't that hard," or maybe you laugh, change the subject, or explain why they shouldn't think so highly of you. Why does something meant to make you feel good leave you feeling strangely exposed? The answer has less to do with confidence than you might think. Most people assume discomfort with compliments means low self-esteem, but that's only part of the story. The deeper struggle is identity. Not the person you want to become, but the person your brain quietly believes you already are. Imagine someone compliments your creativity. If, deep down, you've spent years believing you're average, your mind doesn't simply accept the new information, it experiences conflict. Psychologists call this self-verification. Your brain naturally prefers information that matches its existing self-image, even if that image is painfully negative, because consistency feels safer than uncertainty. Think about your everyday life. You finish a difficult project, instead of feeling proud, you replay the small mistakes. A friend admires your kindness. You immediately remember the one time you weren't patient. Your attention isn't broken. It's filtering reality to protect a familiar identity. And the strange part is, the more often you reject positive feedback, the stronger that identity becomes. Like walking the same forest path until it becomes impossible to miss. This isn't because you're weak, it's because your brain evolved to predict, not necessarily to encourage. A predictable identity, even an unfair one, requires less mental effort than constantly updating your view of yourself. Think of your identity as the operating system of your mind. Compliments are software updates. If the operating system doesn't recognize them as compatible, it quietly rejects the installation. Another useful way to picture this is through a mental thermostat. Your brain has an emotional normal. If praise pushes you above that familiar level, your mind unconsciously tries to return to its usual setting by minimizing, explaining, deflecting. Not because the compliment is false, but because unfamiliar feelings create psychological tension. So how do you slowly change that setting? Not by forcing yourself to believe every compliment. That usually creates even more resistance. Instead, start with observation. When someone praises you, simply notice your first impulse. Don't argue with it, just recognize it. This weakens the brain's automatic habit by bringing it into conscious awareness. Next, replace judgment with curiosity. Instead of thinking they're wrong, ask yourself, what did they notice that I usually ignore? Questions reduce defensiveness because your brain treats them as an exploration rather than threat. For example, if your coworker compliments your leadership, don't decide whether they're correct. Just ask yourself what specific action might have created that impression. Then practice receiving without explaining. A simple thank you is enough. Behavioral psychology shows that small repeated actions reshape emotional expectations over time. Your brain learns safety through experience, not argument. Finally, collect evidence instead of feelings. Write down compliments you receive over a few weeks, not to convince yourself you're amazing, but to give your memory a more balanced record. Our brains naturally remember criticism more vividly than praise, a tendency known as negativity bias. Writing interrupts that imbalance. Over time, you're not building confidence. You're updating your internal map, because that's what identity really is. Not a fixed truth, just a story your brain has repeated often enough to mistake for reality. The next time a compliment makes you uncomfortable, don't ask whether you deserve it. Ask whether your old identity simply doesn't know what to do with it yet. Sometimes, growth isn't learning to think better about yourself. It's becoming willing to let your mind discover that it was never seeing the whole picture.